All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Organized Chaos Show. As always, we're talking to entrepreneurs and leaders that are growing and scaling their businesses and kind of doing a little throwback to when I used to be a full-time consultant. So now I get to just do this for fun. So I love talking with other business people and working through whatever issues are on their mind. And today we have JP Taxman. So JP, what's up?
Hey, buddy. Glad to be here.
Thanks
Let's
for
organize
coming
some
on.
chaos, man.
Let's do it. So why don't we start by just explaining your business and kind of what you do?
For sure. So my company is called Up Relief. I do what I call home experience design, which is where I essentially identify frustrations in people's homes and then design and build custom products to solve those frustrations. And then kind of along with that, some other services are helping people transfer to more of a minimalistic lifestyle and helping them organize their homes, which kind of I felt fit the podcast for today.
So you too organize physical chaos.
Exactly. Yes.
It's funny, when I was first starting consulting and the name Organized Chaos, I would go into businesses and doing some physical organization was part of it. We would just throw away all the clutter and we'd kind of buy new furniture, and I had to get away from that. But I love the tangible nature of just like redoing a room and making it more minimalist.
Right? Doesn't it feel good when you do that?
It does.
It plays into the mind stuff a little bit, right?
You put some example of like wires or something. What wasn't it, like untangling wires? It's that feeling of the instant gratification. I used to say it was kind of like when you vacuum a room and you just step back and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. That's instantly better.
No question.
That's the feeling.
It's funny you talked about that. My dad was obsessed with the vacuum lines when I was a kid. Like I wasn't allowed to go step on the carpet because the vacuum lines had to be just crisp and perfect. And so
I do the same thing.
And I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Like at my house, whenever we vacuum the carpet, I'll like walk the perimeter of the room because I don't want to mess it up. It looks so good.
It does.
So, all right, talk me through like what's an example of a frustration that would be around the house that you would design a solution for?
So one of the main ones I'm kind of focusing on and kind of doing a promotion where I'm offering this for free is doing, like, everyone has kind of that junk drawer that they just throw stuff in. It just kind of accumulates, and sometimes you need to find like a battery or a pair of scissors or a pen in there, and they have to go like digging around. So I come in and identify that drawer, and then I have a modular system that I come and fit custom to the drawer so they can find something within the drawer in less than 3 seconds.
Nice. So is this kind of like the Container Store, those sort of organization systems? Do you love that stuff, or are they a competitor?
I'd say they're a complement. So I was actually the other day just like looking around and stuff, like, oh, okay, cool, I could use that. So like part of it is like I can take stuff from the Container Store and then just kind of modify it, which would actually lessen the cost to the client, because then it's less work of me like having to take something from scratch and build it than just like taking it and adapting something a little bit to fit perfectly. It's kind of like taking what it is, and a lot of stuff is really good that they do. It's just like doesn't fit you perfectly. I try to make things fit people perfectly to what they use.
So those are building blocks, right?
Yeah.
So it's mostly a services business then, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, it's services mixed with, again, like I'm literally in there starting from scratch, building stuff from the ground up, concepting, kind of industrial design.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, and just for context, I guess, is it you right now, or do you have a team, or what's the size of the business?
It's just me at the moment. Definitely like itching to get a team put together, but slowly but surely. And I'm like very particular about who I select to work with, because I know how important team is, and that can definitely kill your business if you don't select the right people.
Well, I love that we're talking today, because yesterday I was trying to write a blog post about delegating the things that you're the best at and how that is the hardest thing to delegate. And for me, it was writing for my Inc. column. Like I've always done that for a year and a half. We now have a copywriter in-house, and we've been trying to work out this system where we can collaborate on making these articles. And I'm struggling because I love doing it. And I'm sure you're amazing at this organization and design and architecture. So picking that next person probably feels hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only just delegating the task of doing it, which actually for me, I definitely do have that where I'm like, oh, it's got to be just right, or like it's got to be this kind of vision. But I have less of a desire to do it. I definitely enjoy doing it. Like I love building stuff. That's one of the reasons I'm getting into this business. But I'm also like, I want to find the best people to do it and then let them do it. And then I just want to be able to do like higher level stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of the thing, I think finding the right people is just like finding people with the right attitude, with the right experience, and with that just like fit the culture properly, you know?
So just to round out the context of the business, how do you
Yeah.
charge? Do you have packages? Do you charge hourly? How's pricing work?
Yeah. So I have kind of three main ways of charging. I have kind of a la carte options, which are just like, all right, you need a closet done. I can come in and just organize your closet for you. You need like your garage done. I can do that. You need a couple of drawers done. I can do those. But then I have kind of like, then I have like the minimalism package, which is just coming in and help you transfer the minimalistic lifestyle. And that's kind of going through your whole home. It's a couple month process, and we just go room by room, making each room ideal, minimalized, and organized. And then the biggest package is doing the custom products, which is where I come in, I do a full, what I call fluidifying analysis. And I do that for both the minimalization as well. And we walk through the whole home, go kind of room by room through your entire day, looking at like how were things stored, how do they operate, how do you use things. I take that information, disseminate it, come back, we go through it, and then we identify where to start, or like what's like the thing we should really focus on that really impact to make your life more efficient. And then I kind of build a product around that.
What's your flagship product or service? What's like, if you could only sell one thing and you had to put a package around it, what's the thing that people would refer you for?
That last one I just explained, the custom product building, for sure.
And it as part of the minimalism transition, or
that's kind of just like a slightly less expensive thing that kind of gets people in the door, and they'd be like, oh, okay, I could definitely use that.
Okay.
But I'm definitely trying to focus on doing the custom products.
Okay, so custom products to just improve the functionality and design of someone's home.
Yeah.
And how do you charge? Like, is it based on square footage? Like, how do you know how to build them?
So essentially I build them. I do how long it's roughly going to take.
So and then time-based.
It's not time-based. I'm just kind of giving my pricing model. Okay. Then it's like that plus materials plus, the profit markup.
So this is a kind of an adjacent industry, but have you ever heard of the design app Modsy, Modsy? I started seeing their Instagram ads like a few months ago.
Yeah.
So we just did this for our house. It's like an on-demand interior design thing. So it's not to the level you're doing it, but basically the way it works is they've got an app. You take pictures from all the different corners of the room. They do a 3D model of the room, and then they do interior design of just kind of putting different furniture pieces into the room. They send it to you. There's a couple revision rounds. And then once you like everything, they're actually acting as a broker and selling all those products from the sites and trying to get you, they probably get commissions across everything that you buy. But what I loved about it is that they charge per room, a flat rate fee, that there's different tiers of service. So in terms of pricing, it was really scalable because you can say, do you want to work with like the most senior designer with 5+ or 10+ years of experience? Do you want to work with an entry level person? Do you want to work with a rising star, an up and comer? Here's our three, platinum, silver, gold packages. And it was really easy for me as a customer to pick that. So I mean, just talking through this, I feel like that would be one of my hesitations in just like wanting to say yes and buy right away, is like the transparency or the clarity of pricing. So is that something you've dealt with, or no one doesn't seem to matter yet?
So I definitely have thought about that as well. And kind of what I've done is I'm kind of trying to scale people up. So like I'm offering the free drawer organization to get them like to try to understand what I'm doing and what it is and how beneficial it can be to their life. And that's kind of my entry point, right? And then from there, I'm like, okay, sit down, like what could you use? And like, oh, I really need my closet done. And so like, that's where I would charge actually like a flat rate. So the flat rate is going to be done for like, if you just need a closet done, you need a garage done, you need the drawers done, or a couple cabinets, right? That's where flat rate's going to be done. And then from there, it's like, it goes up to more of, and it's still generally a flat rate, where like the difference is going to come in pricing is going to be in materials, because materials, if they want like the nicest, you know, mahogany wood used, it's going to be a lot more expensive than using like MDF, right? So that's where that's where my the fluctuation is going to be. Outside of that, it's going to be pretty standard. Like the most expensive is going to be 7,000 to 10,000. Again, that fluctuation is very much between what materials are, material costs. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a good idea for the business and kind of where you're at. So the next question would be, where do you want to take this? Like if you go 2-3 years ahead, what's the organization look like? Like how many people, how many customers, what's life like in a couple of years?
Totally. Okay. So we're doing 3 years. 3 years, I'd like to have, realistically, probably 5 to 10 employees.
Okay.
And starting in what I call phase 1.2, or sorry, not 1.2, 1.5, which is expanding it to a point where I can kind of do this semi-decentralized manufacturing model, where I can kind of take people who have garage workshops, make the workshop a little bit better, invest in it, and then be able to kind of expand and have more people building stuff, and be able to move it throughout the country as I do that.
So let's hone in on that a little bit. Does the company shift to more manufacturing custom built items, or is there still the services in the design arm, or like what would most of those 5 or 10 people be doing?
So again, a lot of this can be figured out when I get there, but what I'm kind of playing with.
Well, hold on. I want to stop you. We got to figure it out now, because the problem is if you know, if you've got if you're going to figure it out when you get there, you don't know where you're going, and it's hard to figure out the gap between there and here. And so I think, you know, for not just for you, but anyone listening here, like the exercise of looking a couple years out and figuring like what's the business look like there is specifically to figure out, here's what we don't do today that we need to figure out how to do over the next 2 years, or here's the people we don't have today that we've got to figure out, or here's the products that we're not selling, or the margin we're not making, or like there's some difference between what you do today and in a few years. So so that's why I'm harping on this. Don't feel like it's
no, you're good, man. You're good.
Okay.
I guess for me, like I say that in the realm of like, I have an idea of what I would like it to be, but I'm also want to be able to be malleable when I get to that point where, like, right now, what I think, again, like to do in that regard is have it where we have kind of the designer that goes in and actually the designer and the builder kind of work together. So we have kind of the designer that goes in, does the evaluation, kind of concepts, what it should be, helps with install, but then they take it, and then there's a kind of a builder that they work with very closely who actually does like the construction of it.
Okay. Is the designer kind of the project manager as well? Like they're the lead contact?
Yeah. They'd be mainly the person in communication with the client.
What's the ratio? Like how many designers to builders?
They're probably, I think it'd likely have to be 1-to-1.
Okay. So
or like maybe, yeah.
And is the builder really just fabricating the custom elements that the designer comes up with?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've got a design and builder teams. And so if you had 10 people, would that be 5 teams of 2?
Yeah. Well, probably not. That'd probably be, let's see, 4 teams of 2, and then I need at least 2 other people for like marketing, social media management, and then maybe like finance or operations officer, something like that.
Okay, so maybe it's like 3 to 4 teams that are in the field doing things, and then you've got another 3 to 4 people that are kind of the operations or admin side of the business. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. these teams that are working together, your designer and builder, what's the average dollar amount of a project that they do together?
Average dollar amount would be,
if you don't know, that's okay.
I don't know for sure. I'm just trying to give you a rough estimate. Probably between.
So while you're calculating, one tip I've used in the past, like you've done projects, right? So when I was consulting or when I was working with any other company and we went through this exercise, we'd get a spreadsheet and you'd put every person that paid you money through the year. Like every different customer that paid you money, and then the sum of the total money they paid you over that year, because you might do a few small projects, or like you said, you might work with someone over 3 months or 6 months. And so you get it as if like somebody paid you that dollar amount for the whole year of service. And that shows you how, like what comfort level you're at for charging. That's like your average package. You average all that out and it shows you your average package. And so today, if you look at like, okay, we have 5 people I just did these free drawers with and then consulted with them for a few hours. And then got this one massive project over here and a couple in the middle. Your average project might be whatever, a few $1,000s, 5,000, whatever it is. And then what we want to do here is say, okay, 3 years from now, what's the average project? Is it 20,000? Is it 50,000? Is it 250,000? Because the scope of what you think you're going to be doing in 3 years says a lot about the building blocks you need to put in place now to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if you want to be doing, you know, if your builder designer, if their average project's like 25 grand or something, you're going to be going after a different customer today than you would be if the average project was 2,000.
Yeah.
So if you just had to like, you know, ballpark, throw a dart, where do you want to be in as like an average project size?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be about, we'll go right in the middle, we'll go about 35,000.
Okay. So someone's going to hire your team to come in, assess their home, their environment. You're going to apply some minimalist techniques. You're going to custom fabricate some industrial solutions to you know, to solve their layout problems or whatever it is. And they're going to write you on average a check for 35,000
over the course of the year, right?
Yeah. So who is that customer that's going to write that check? Like, is it a certain size home? Is it a certain type of professional? Like who's gonna budget 35 grand a year for this?
Definitely going to be someone that's probably living in like, is Greyhawk, like super massive homes out in North Scottsdale?
Oh yeah, so we're both in the same area here. So that's example of a neighborhood. So it's so would you target like zip codes or neighborhoods or something that's got a median home value of X?
Yeah, definitely. You know, at least like $1 million or more. At that point, it's probably 5 to 6 million or more.
And people that are in those homes, is this a project that they do when they first move in? Is it a project they do when their home is of a certain age? Like, how do you think about where is that customer in the life cycle of the home?
I think for me, it's likely ideal if they've been living there for a while. You know, minimal a year, a little bit longer, probably, because there's more stuff. There's more like the problem's more of an issue when they first move in. They kind of have things where they want it, and then it like starts to degrade over time a little bit. And they accumulate more. Like they maybe got rid of some stuff in the move, and they accumulate all that stuff, so I can help them like figure out good places to have to go or how to get rid of it. So definitely, if they've lived in a little bit longer, it's better. If they've just moved in, also doable. But I think because then we can get it, you know, done from the start, and that stuff's already like off, and then we build something just perfect for there, so they can always have it ideal. But definitely
the reason I ask is, you know, we've got your package price, we've got your ideal customer, the zip codes or neighborhoods they live in. And then the reason the life cycle is important, because that's what dictates your messaging. So if you're going to start doing marketing to these people, it's a totally different thing to say, you've just moved into this new construction neighborhood. Don't take all the builder upgrades. We can do it cheaper or whatever, that's like a different proposition than saying you've been in your house for 10 years, it's time for an upgrade. You know, like it's different messaging. And I feel like if you can pick one of the two, you'd be way more referable, because the people that are all moving into new houses and maybe their families are growing, that's a different audience than the people that have been in their home a while. They probably have older kids. So can you see how that's like a different group?
Absolutely. Yeah. And definitely be the second one in that regard.
Okay. So they've been in their house for a while. They're ready to change something up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So now we've narrowed in on the package, the team size, kind of how you deliver it, who you're trying to target. So the next thing is like, how do you differentiate against other competitors? So I don't know if competitors would be in other interior design type firms, or if it would be general contractors. Like, who do you come up against when someone is wanting to stroke a $35K check for improving their house?
So I have kind of slight competitors in a couple different areas, but I kind of am in a slightly new vertical, where so like organizers are kind of competitors. Okay. And then remodelers can be competitors to an extent, but again, remodelers for the most part are just taking like a kitchen apart and then putting an all new cabinetry. And sometimes they are doing more like where they're thinking more about like how silverware should go in drawers and doing a little bit more there, which is good. But they'll typically only focus on that area. And then we can go in and help even add to that, or like even in like a kitchen, like we can help make your sink, the way you clean your dishes, more efficient in certain ways by adding on slight bits that they might not have thought of. So, but I'd say that's one potential one. And then not so much interior designers. I think interior designers are a good, again, complement and partner for us. Because we can kind of make things that help make their beautiful, like they do really good job of just making a room look really nice. And then we can come in and kind of add on that and add on, like, we're kind of like the UX to the UI of interior designers, right? They're more the UI, we're kind of UX. So they make it look really nice and we make it function really well and intuitively.
So it's more, it seems more like functional engineering, or I don't know. There's something technical about what you're doing. That's more. Is it more science or art?
Yeah, I'd say it's more science.
Science. So is there like a target business that, or a customer that, you know, wants their home laid out to be more like, you know, feng shui, or that like is after that kind of thing that you've bumped into?
Yeah, I've met a couple people that that really kind of resonate with the message. And I think the trick there is they kind of think they have it figured out to a point. Like a lot of people really into like home automation get excited about it. A lot of people, because we'll like use that stuff if necessary in the right areas. But it's there are people who like really care about organization, having their home really functioning well. Who I think we can add on to. I think a lot of it too is helping people who don't understand it. And then once they get it, they'll become obsessed with it. Because once you get it, you're like, oh, I can't believe I was living without this for so long. And then when it's like something that was frustrating them for years, is now solved and not an issue, right? It brings in that sense of relief, which is what we're going for, which is why I named the company Up Relief.
So let me share an example. When I was doing the consulting, and my flagship kind of thing was this small consulting project. I'd come in for 1 day at a smaller company, 3 days at a bigger company. And the point of it was to provide some of that relief and guidance about, here's all the things you could do. Here's what's wrong with the business. Here's where the bottlenecks are. Here's what the kind of feedback I've collectively gotten from everyone. And that was very often a gateway to a lot more work. It sounds like your gateway is this, that you've been doing this free drawer thing, but to me that sounds like more if you were a organizer. But if the true value of what you're doing is the functional design and UX of someone's house, it seems like you'd want to partner with organizers and designers and general contractors and realtors and have this brand to be like a, you know, functional layout home consultant, that we come in, here's this like really accessible package, we're going to analyze your space, provide some recommendations, and then you can either continue to work with us and we've got custom fabrication, we've got these bigger projects, or you can just take these recommendations and there's a few actionable tips that you've got like immediate value. And the reason I'm suggesting that is that if you're gonna have teams of people that are going into houses, it's hard if you've got this wide menu of services, because the organizers could feel like you're competing with them, and the designers can feel like you're competing with them, and the contractors feel like you're competing with them. And if you can come up with something that's non-competitive so that you're more of a partner with them, then they become a source of leads and referrals. And that can be like a flywheel, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I've been trying to work on, is getting in contact with and building those partnerships. Like I'm talking to a lot of real estate agents, a couple of interior designers, and trying to build and develop those relationships to make those partnerships happen. And yeah, I think I could just do a better job of explaining how well I am a complement to their business.
Yeah. Because I see it, and just talking with you, I get that you've got this engineering kind of mind, and you're more technical, and you can, you know, when you say it's like UX for your house, that instantly resonates with me, because I know what that is. I don't know if the average
that's why I don't typically
customer
use that.
But there's a more approachable way to say that makes you differentiated from all those other thing, you know, people that I just mentioned. And I think that's what unlocks this business, because I've never heard of that before. I've never, like, that seems very new to me to say, I'm going to look at your space plan. I'm going to spend 20 minutes in your house taking pictures, and I'm going to return all these suggestions about how to save you time, you know, reduce the steps of moving around your house, lay out certain things differently. Like, that's kind of mind blowing, but I didn't understand that necessarily for the first half hour of our conversation. So like, that's like, I would figure out what that thing is and turn it into the smallest bite-sized package that you can make, to give people that sense of like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of this. This is cool.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely play around with that.
But all right, so we've kind of gone down a few tangents. What do you want to focus on? Like what couple of questions do you want to narrow in on that would be helpful?
The main thing is just, for me, that I'm just trying to get as much ideas on, is client acquisition. Like finding people. Where do I go get these people that, you know, are in that, you know, $150,000 a year or more income bracket?
How many do you need?
I need, if they're doing again, well, I'll play with that, but if they're doing like the full package, I just need one a month.
Okay. So how do you find 12 of these people is the question.
Right.
So the reason I ask that is because certain business models need hundreds of customers. Certain ones need thousands of customers. Certain ones need dozens, or, you know, single digits. And I always feel like if you only need 10 or 12 or 15 customers, that is very doable without building a huge brand and doing digital marketing and all that stuff. Because the reason that people invest in social and digital and content marketing and all that is to do marketing more at scale. And so when you're just getting started or when it's just you and you're trying to break through that, the most powerful thing you've got is referrals, testimonials, case studies, networking. Like it is a very closely held thing, because if you can get one, you know, for instance, right now we've got MLB spring training in Arizona, a lot of athletes here. If you get one of those athletes that has a nice house to buy this, imagine they're going to tell other team members, right? You're going to get referrals. And it's really just, you need that like keystone client that gives you the gateway. So that's how it was with me too. You know, like I got a couple businesses and produced amazing results for them. Like gave them way more value than what I was charging for. So what I would say is, you know, if you haven't done one of those $35,000 packages yet, if that's like the goal, maybe you have, figure out what that package is and deliver that to someone for $5,000, or, you know, like go way above. People know your price is going to change. No one, you know, as I got referred more and more, no one called me out on the pricing going up, because I said, well, I have less time. You've got to raise your price.
No question.
if you can do that service for your first few people, they'll be referring you for the thing that you want to be referred for, that bigger service, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think your lead gen is do a few great ones and make those people the like poster children or poster customers for this service. And so I would get case studies. In the past, I hired a videographer to interview customers I had worked with about the amazing results that they had. And then we took little 60-second videos and I put them on my website. I put them in my email signature. I would send them to people after I met with them to say, here's a few examples. And it feels so much more personal, because you just had a meeting with them and they saw a price sheet, they heard the pitch, but now when they hear it from other people and they can put some visuals to it, that is like before and after, they all of a sudden have an emotional need that they want you to fill. So I think video is really powerful. Testimonials is super easy thing. You can pull what they said out of the video and ask, is it okay if I use this on my proposals, or can I put this on my LinkedIn or on my website? But to me, that's the path to getting to your first 12. And then same thing. It's like a flywheel. You'll keep getting more.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting those first couple really hooked in.
Do you have case studies now?
I do. Yeah, I have a couple.
And are those working for you, or?
Decently. Not. It's not that they're not working.
What's the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge again is just like finding people. It's just finding the people to sell to, like prospecting.
Have you asked all of your past customers to recommend a few prospective customers?
No, I haven't done that.
So that's some low-hanging fruit that, you know, if you've worked with all these people and they like you, you say, hey, I'm really scaling up my operations. Do you have a few friends that you could make intros to that you think would be a good fit for what I'm doing? And if they truly believe in you and got value out of what you're doing, they will give you a few names. If you don't get any names back, I would say that would be an indicator to be like, well, what, like, how come you don't want to? Yeah. What's different? But that's an easy low hanging fruit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll go and do that.
I would also get everyone you've worked with, if you haven't done this yet, to ask them for a testimonial. Just have them send back like what you did so well.
Yeah, I definitely have one. And then I have actually a video of another one, but I just need to send it over and get his approval to use it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else can I help with?
I'm sure there's so much. Sorry for the dead time.
While you're thinking of questions, I feel like this episode is sponsored by Trainual.
Shout it out. Brilliant platform. Everyone go and download it right now. Nice. So let me get your thoughts on this one for prospecting. and
Mm-hmm.
I was given this idea, and I've been playing with the idea. What's your thoughts on just going out and knocking on doors and introducing myself to people at their home?
I think that it's changed over the years, and that used to be a great sign of hustle, and now it's a little intrusive. So I think the best way to introduce yourself is if you've got a customer in that neighborhood, spend some time outside of the neighborhood shaking hands or whatever, or ask the person if you can put a sign on their yard for a discount, or, like ask if they'll introduce a few neighbors. But I think cold walking up to doors, I know at least I'm not receptive to that sort of thing.
I know I'm not either.
Yeah. And especially if you're going after multi-million-dollar houses,
Yeah.
there's going to be gates and security and all that. So I think it's more of a turn off for that customer.
Okay. All right. All right.
Now, what about you're go ahead.
No, you finish.
I was going to say your best bet is just this word of mouth referrals. Like if you get those 5 or 10 customers that you just did a amazing job for, and then you start hanging out where they are at, whether it's business networking events or, even like, I go to a lot of the Suns games, and they've got the clubs, the like courtside thing, and doing something like that, buying tickets, going to one of those, and with a customer and getting them to introduce you to all the people that are there because you got the tickets, like that's a amazing, that's a way better way to spend marketing dollars than to just try to do Instagram ads to try to find $5 million house owners. Like there's some creative ways that you can get yourself in those circles to meet other prospects and make sure you're with a very happy customer, because then everyone they introduce you to, they're like, oh, JP was at my house the last few months. He like revolutionized our space layout. And now like I can wash my hands from the couch, and it's like crazy, or whatever, like layout thing you do.
Yeah, I like that. Definitely. That's, I think, one of the best ways to spend money is on current clients and then putting them around in interesting ways around other potential clients for them to talk about you. Yeah. You can't go wrong there for sure.
All right. Any other last issues or questions or discussion topics?
Off the top of my head.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, then we'll wrap it up. Again, JP Taxman, Uplift. It's Uplift, right? Uprelief. Sorry, I read it wrong.
Worries.
Uprelief. Really cool idea. I love this concept, and the fact that I've never heard of it before and don't even know what to call this type of person. I think there's an opportunity for you to brand this. So for anybody that's watching and has ideas or prospects and leads for JP, send them his way.
Appreciate it.
Thank you again for your time. Great discussion.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me on, and love training you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Yep.